Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here, once again with another video on The Flash Season 3, and they released a sizzle reel for The Flash Season 3, the last 3 episodes. It's pretty awesome, so let's actually watch the trailer before we get into anything else.
Don't do this!
Now, finally, I am free of you!
He said it was like looking in a mirror. That power, that pain, that's where Savitar comes from loss.
You know what I saw when I looked into that man's eyes? A deeply wounded soul. I saw the same thing in you the night your mother was killed.
What am I gonna have to become to stop him?
Didn't see that coming.
There are only 4 rules you need to remember. Make the plan, execute the plan, expect the plan to go off the rails, throw away the plan.
See, that's the thing about time travel. The more you do it, the less the rules apply to you.
I really don't think you should be spying on me, Cisco.
Is it spying if we're friends?
You trusted me and I let you down. You were my son once. Please, Barry.
That's not my name!
Savitar needs something from you. Once he's done with that, it's over for him. I only need for Iris to die so that you are driven so far into the dark that I can be born.
And now we're all in trouble because I couldn't keep my mouth shut.
Oh, it's all coming together in the worst way.
Now the moment is upon us.
Here we go.
Bye, bye, bye.
You kill me, you become me. Either way.
You lose, Barry.
So yeah, that trailer, it wasn't as long as the Arrow one, but the reason that it wasn't as long as the Arrow one is because they really didn't show too much old footage. They showed maybe like 5 to 10 seconds of older footage from previous episodes, and the rest of the footage was new footage, which is extremely great. Now, sorry I'm uploading this a bit late, but they released the trailer at like 3 AM Australian time, so I'm sorry for that. And they didn't even announce that they were releasing this trailer, they just dropped it. Unlike, as I said, the Arrow one, where they sort of promoted it for like 2 or 3 days and then dropped it, so no one knew this Flash one was coming, so yeah, sorry I wasn't prepared for it. And the reason they had to wait so long compared to the Arrow one, because they couldn't show anything really until they revealed Savitar's identity. So Arrow could do it because they released Prometheus' identity like ages ago. Flash had to wait till, you know, Savitar's identity was revealed before they could release anything to do with the final 3 episodes, you know, to promote it more, because they really needed to show Savitar's identity, might I say. So as I said, this trailer is for the last 3 episodes, so the final 3 episodes of this season, the first of which is tomorrow, so get excited for that. But let's get into what the major points from the trailer were. The biggest thing to take from the beginning was Barry talking about where Savitar's power, like his pain, originates from and where it comes from. It's all from loss, and it's not just from Iris's loss either, Iris's death, might I say. It's not just from that, it's from everything before that, whether it be Nora Allen, Henry Allen, everything before that, depending on what version of Barry this is. But from what this trailer sort of suggests, it's almost like it's a version of our current Barry, but we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out, because the trailer can be misleading, because that is another sort of secret or a big, you know, a big mystery, I guess you could say, going into the last 3 episodes, is what version of Barry became Savitar. So it could just be Iris's death that is, you know, attributed to this loss that makes it become Savitar, or it could be like Nora, Henry, and everyone else like Ronnie, Eddie, and all of that put together with Iris that leads to him becoming Savitar. One thing that I thought was actually very interesting from this trailer was the other characters interacting with this other Savitar Barry. Especially see Joe, he's probably the main focus and the main other character that's interacting with him, but we also do see Iris putting her hand on this other Barry's face, and obviously this is going to be a, you know, a pretty emotional, or maybe not emotional scene, but a very tense scene whenever it does come around. I'm guessing it might be episode 22 when that happens. And Joe talks about a look that he sees in this Barry's eyes, in this like Savitar's Barry's eyes, and it was the same look that he saw in younger Barry's eyes when Nora Allen died. So you are seeing the similarities that they're trying to draw between the 2 Barrys, and like Joe is understanding how Barry could have actually ended up becoming Savitar. And I think that's one thing a lot of the other characters are going to realize, that it's actually plausible that Barry could become Savitar. It's actually not this like out of this world possible thing that could happen. Like, they've experienced Barry go through these different troubles, and they could actually understand why he would actually end up becoming this evil monster. Now, I guess one pro of me seeing the trailer late, I got to see some reactions to it, and there's the scene where Barry's in the time vault looking at the reverse flash suit. He's probably not even looking at the reverse flash suit. I think that's just there from season 1. He's probably just looking at something random. But he's wondering what he will have to become to stop Savitar, and I heard a lot of people saying, oh, he's going to put the reverse flash suit on. No, I think what they're like talking about, or conveying with this, is that he's going to have to become a murderer, because Barry's never murdered. He hasn't. At this stage, he has not murdered. And I think that's one thing that he's really contemplating. I might actually have to kill Savitar to stop him, because he might actually not know how to, 1, trap him in the Speed Force, or 2, to stop him in any other shape or form. Like, because it's future Barry. It's a future version of him. He knows every single move he's going to make. It's going to be very difficult. So maybe the only other choice that they have is to actually kill him. So I think that's one decision that Barry's going to have to constantly think over, because you might not think it's a big thing. Like, sure, on Arrow, we've seen Oliver murder heaps of times, and even on Legend of Tomorrow, they've murdered. But this is Barry. Like, he's really got that strict code of honor. It's going to be a massive thing if he actually ends up killing Savitar. So it's going to be very interesting to see if that actually plays out. And one thing that was actually really awesome to see in this trailer was, boom, Captain Cold being back. Now, we see him helping Barry break into Argus, but I guess there's a couple of questions that come around this, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have the exact same questions. Is, what for? Why are they breaking into Argus? Is Captain Cold alive now? That's another one. And yeah, that's basically the 2 questions. There might be more, but those are the 2 ones I want to talk about. In regards to what for, I actually have no idea. It could be something to do with Savitar, but why would they be breaking into Argus? Sorry, we do see Lila talking to Barry and Cisco, and Lila's talking to Cisco like, oh, why are you spying on us, and stuff like that. So you think something's going to come up where Argus has either some tech or just some information that's really going to help them out. But you have to think it's a big thing if they're going to really focus an episode on it, because I do think episode 22 is going to be a big focus in regards to going into Argus for at least maybe half the episode. So I don't think they really want to show you in the trailer why they're going in there. And I guess the second question is Captain Cold alive now? And my first thing was no, because you do see Captain Cold in Star Labs. So my thought was that Barry goes back in time, like that season 2 before Legends and stuff like that, when Captain Cold was, sort of helping Barry out, and helps and like gets plans for Argus and stuff like that. And because Captain Cold, broke into banks and stuff like that, so he'd be very skilled at it. But then there's a scene later on where we see Lila fighting some Argus agents, and Captain Cold is right behind her. So this gets me really confused. Like, oh, so he's alive now, or did Barry bring him to the future? What the hell's going on here? I guess one thing could be, oh, Barry and Cisco did the facial changing thing, and one became Captain Cold and one became Lila. But like, Lila's doing like secret agent takedown moves. I don't think Barry or Cisco knows that. So these 2 are alive, but maybe they go back in time to season 2, all of them, and that's season 2 Lila. It's confusing because Lila would actually not have been in charge of Argus at the time, so maybe that's what's happening there. Because why would she have to be taking down her own agents if she was in charge of Argus? She became in charge of Argus like halfway through season 3 of Arrow, so that'd be around halfway through season no, it was season 1. I don't know, it's all confusing, to be completely honest, but I just can't see this being in the present time. So I think this episode's actually going to take place in the past, and they're going to be doing some stuff in Argus at that point. But we do see King Shark, but it is important to remember that King Shark was already in Argus, so maybe that was where he was held before they put him in that big tank. Who knows what they're doing there, but I think that King Shark thing is just going to be a cameo. I don't think he's going to be strolling around too much. I think that's just an awesome little, like, not an Easter egg, just a cameo. So I wouldn't look too much into the King Shark thing. Now, just quickly, another thing on Captain Cold. He does talk about 4 rules that need to be remembered. The first one is make the plan. The second one is execute the plan. The third one is expect the plan to go off the rails. And the final one is finally throw away the plan. So I think this is obviously to do with what they're doing with Argus, but I think this could be a hint at what's going to happen with the final showdown with Savitar. Like, they're going to try and plan everything out. But I think it's just that constant thing about this Barry being, he's already experienced everything. So even though they could change things slightly, he could still preempt what's going to happen. So even though they could plan it as best that they could, he could still, read everything that's going to happen. So maybe the best thing to do is sort of go off the cuff and not really make a plan. But I think that's a little hint at what's going to happen with the final showdown with Savitar, and the fact that they really shouldn't plan too much ahead with it and sort of just go off the cuff of it, as I said. Now we do see Wally apologizing to Barry now. This could just be Wally, you know, after being injured, talking about how he's sorry for allowing Savitar to escape, because really Wally's sorry is the one that allowed Savitar to escape the Speed Force by like coming into his temptations, giving him the final piece of the Philosopher's Stone, which allowed him to escape and all that. But we also do see Wally getting beaten the hell up by Savitar quickly in the trailer, so I think that scene's going to follow that. But I think Wally's going to be really sorry, because I think at that point in the season, they're just really struggling to take down Savitar, and they're just running out of plans on how they're actually going to defeat him. So I think Wally's just like built up stress and stuff like that. It's going to be, you know, thinking that's all his fault, and he's going to be apologizing to Barry and stuff like that. Now we hear Cisco talking to someone who is most likely Caitlin or Killer Frost about Savitar killing them, or, you know, just like leaving them after they get what they need from them, which is something that I guess would happen with Killer Frost and Savitar. Like, really, would Savitar need Killer Frost around after he's done what he needs to do? And the answer to that is probably not. So it's obviously a way for Cisco to get through to Killer Frost and try and bring her to their side, or just at least get her off Savitar's side for these final episodes. Now, Killer Frost is going to go on into next season as Caitlin's going to stay Killer Frost going into season 4. But the big question around this is she going to stay like really evil, or is she going to be like sort of like that anti-hero, sort of like what Captain Cold became in like season 2 of The Flash? Is that what she's going to become? I don't think Caitlin's going to become like a full-on, oh, goody two-shoes Killer Frost, because how can he be called Killer Frost if you're a goody two-shoes? So I think she's just going to become that anti-hero. Like, she's still bad, but she still has like, she might like grow a set of moral codes or something, sort of like what Captain Cold has. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think they still want to make the character really likable, so the people that liked Caitlin a lot originally, but still need to appeal to that side of the people that watch the show that really enjoy Killer Frost. Now, it's actually pretty interesting. We actually sort of get Savitar's plan revealed. It's not like 100% his plan, because this would be weird if this was his like 100% plan. But we hear him say that he needs Iris to die so he can be driven like so far into the dark, so far into like, well, yeah, just the moodiness, if you want to call it that, that he can actually be born into Savitar. So this Barry can become Savitar. So that's one thing that I think a lot of people were theorizing about Barry, that he actually just needs Iris to die to become Savitar. It's like how you need to put something in the oven for it to cook. You know what I mean? So that's not that surprising that that's his plan, or part of his plan. I don't think that's 100% his plan. I think he's definitely going to have some other things going around, which is definitely going to be interesting to find out. But that's just really giving the motivations and the setup as to why Iris would have to die this season. Like, why couldn't it be Joe or something like that? Iris was the trigger point that really just moved him in that direction to becoming Savitar. But they really do need to explain some other stuff with Savitar, like the importance of the Philosopher's Stone and all that. So they've got a lot to explain in these last 3 episodes, and I'm just hoping they didn't reveal or leave the Savitar reveal too late in the season. So I'm just hoping that it all works out. As I did say earlier, we did have Cisco and Caitlin talking to each other, or Cisco talking to someone who is most likely Caitlin or Killer Frost. And we also do see some Killer Frostverse vibe scenes, which is basically the ones that we saw in episode 19 and earlier this season, but mainly episode 19, where Killer Frost actually froze Vibes like forearms off, or hands off, but I think she basically got all of his forearm. So we're going to see that scene. That could be the scene where, you know, Cisco says to Caitlin, like, oh, Savitar's just using you. But Killer Frost isn't going to do anything to Vibe here. I highly doubt that. But this could be a really important scene going into season 4 as to what Killer Frost is like, and like her motivations, whether she's like truly evil or she becomes that sort of like anti-hero, as I said before. And the last thing from the trailer that I really want to bring up is when we hear Savitar Barry say, I'm 99% sure it's Savitar Barry just because of the voice, but he says, you kill me, you become me. And this is a big thing, because it's true. Like, if Barry does become Savitar, kills Savitar, he becomes a murderer. It leads him down a dark path, especially if Iris possibly dies. We'll talk about that in a second. But I think this will happen. I actually think Barry will murder Savitar, but then I think Barry will take measures to prevent the latter happening, though. So the latter being him actually becoming Savitar. So the way in which he does that is going to be very interesting, and I think that's actually going to be the cliffhanger leading into season 4. So season 3 is going to end with Barry taking those measures, and then we're just left in the off season going, oh crap, what did he do? Are we going to see Barry again? Is he gone for the whole next season? Is Wally going to become the Flash or take over the mantle? Is Jesse Quick going to come over and help? Like, what's going to happen there? Is Jay Garrick going to become the Flash on Earth 1? What's happening? It's going to be, just from what I can tell, I think that's what's going to happen. I just think it's going to be very confusing going into season 4, and we just don't get many questions answered in regards to what Barry's doing. But let me know what you think of all of that. Do you think Barry's going to kill Savitar? Because I just don't know how they're going to trap him in the Speed Force like they did in the future. Like, I know Tracy Brand's making that weapon, but I don't think she's going to make the weapon that was made in the future. I think she's just going to make like something that's really similar and does a similar job, but might not do the complete job that that one in the future did. So I think Barry's going to have to take that extra measure, that being actually killing Savitar. So the last thing I really want to talk about that's not really in the trailer but involves the last couple of episodes, and that is, will Iris die? We do see the last scene in that trailer is them, like, you know, panning up with the camera, and we do see Barry holding Iris's body, but that can be from like episode 22 where they just recount the murder. Honestly, I don't think Iris is going to die, just because they've focused so much on the season of it, they just won't make her die. One person I think that might die is HR, which I did sort of talk about, but I don't think they're going to do that like facial trans thing, which I think a lot of people wanted. And I made a video saying it's not going to make sense because he's too tall and stuff like that, so they wouldn't do that. But you do see Tracy Brand like crying and screaming in the trailer really quickly, and I think this could be the scene in which HR dies, which would be pretty hard for her, because really, if you've read the synopsises and even if you've watched the most recent episode, HR is the one that's pushing Tracy along to, like, you know, build this thing to stop Savitar, or at least help in the takedown of Savitar. So she's going to be really connected to HR. Wouldn't surprise me if they started like a quick little romance thing going on here. Or maybe she just sees him as a mentor, who knows, and someone that actually believes in her. When, obviously, from what we've seen earlier on, or last episode, might I say, with Tracy, it doesn't seem like many people believe in her. She was really by herself in her work and stuff like that. So when she has someone that believes in her, she's obviously going to become very attached to them. And if he was to die, she'd be very, very upset. So yeah, we know someone dies. And just the fact that Tracy's crying here, I think the only one she would really go that mental over would be HR. But just let me know what you think of all that in the comment section down below. But thanks for watching, guys. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like on it. It'd be very much appreciated. As I said, I'm sorry that this was uploaded a bit late. As I said, 3 AM, didn't know it was coming out either. Yeah, but yeah, leave all your opinions in the comment section below. What do you think is going to happen with certain things from this trailer? Is Iris going to die? Is HR going to die? What's happening? Do you think Barry's going to murder Savitar? And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.